Beloved child, I need you to breathe slowly as you take in these words, because what is about to unfold before you is not ordinary. It is not something the world has whispered about, nor something you could have guessed in the corners of your quiet thoughts. This is divine disclosure, and heaven itself trembles as I, Archangel Michael, speak these words under the permission of the Almighty. For a long time, I carried this secret deep within my heart, watching over you, shielding you from pieces of the truth because the time had not yet come. But the Father in heaven has looked into your life, seen the season you are stepping into, and has whispered to me, "It is time. No more delay. Reveal it to them now." And so I speak, not as a distant messenger, but as the one who has fought for you in unseen battles, who has stood in the fire for you, who has wrestled the dark forces that tried to claim you in your sleep. The reason this moment is so urgent is because the one you trust the most, yes, that very person whose words you have taken as truth, whose presence you thought was safety, has done something behind your back that you would never imagine. They have planted something in your path, a seed of betrayal, a decision that could shift the very course of your life if it is not exposed now. I know your mind may try to deny it because your heart is gentle and you love deeply. But beloved, heaven sees beyond smiles, beyond laughter, beyond promises. Heaven sees the hands that give you gifts but hide poisoned intentions inside their pockets. I have been watching for months, even years, as their plans slowly took shape. They disguised their moves in kindness. They made sure to speak to you in ways that disarmed you, ways that made you believe their loyalty was unquestionable. But every time they left your presence, they went into secret places, whispering things about you that you would never expect. I wanted to tear the curtain away long ago, but God's timing is perfect. He did not want you to see it before you were spiritually strong enough to handle the shock without it breaking you completely. And beloved, I tell you this now, God's decision to wait until today was an act of mercy. The reason you are seeing this message right now, in this exact hour, is because the spiritual clock over your life has struck a new moment. The next 50 seconds of your awareness are precious. It is not a coincidence that you are reading this now, because if you turn away, the opportunity to prepare yourself, to defend yourself, to reposition yourself, will fade away like smoke in the wind. And no, I do not speak in riddles to frighten you, I speak in urgency to awaken you. I have stood by your bed at night and felt the weight pressing over you as you slept, the heaviness of a spiritual hand that did not come from God. I have stood at your door when a certain person visited, feeling the shift in the air, knowing that while their smile reached their face, their spirit carried a shadow that wished you harm. I have seen the messages they sent in secret, the conversations they thought were hidden. And beloved, it breaks my heart, not because I did not expect the enemy to work, but because I saw how deeply you trusted them. Your heart, so pure and open, never imagined that someone so close could be a vessel of betrayal. This is why the Almighty whispered into the chambers of my spirit, "Tell them today. No more waiting. And I obey without delay, because you have been chosen for a destiny so vast, so luminous, that the enemy knows he cannot defeat you through open attack. He must come through the shadows, through the mouths of those you would never suspect. That is why the one you trust most became a tool in his hands without even fully realizing the depth of what they were doing. Beloved, I need you to understand something very important. You are not unprotected. You are not left to figure this out alone. Heaven has already begun to reverse the schemes set against you. Even as I speak to you now, angels are moving in the unseen realm, dismantling words spoken against you, erasing lies before they reach the ears that could harm you, blocking meetings that were arranged to work against you. But your part is crucial. You must be willing to see the truth and act upon it. You must be willing to step back from blind trust and open your eyes to discernment. The person you trust most may not be an enemy in their own heart. They may even believe they are helping you in some twisted way, but their actions have aligned with darkness. And the plan they set in motion is something they cannot undo on their own. This is why you must hear me, why you must not dismiss this as a passing word. Because if you ignore this moment, their actions will bear fruit, and that fruit will not be sweet. It will bring confusion, loss, and a chain of events that will take years to undo. But if you listen, if you take the shield of faith and the sword of truth right now, you will turn the enemy's plan into your greatest testimony. Do you remember the moments lately when you felt a strange heaviness after speaking with them? The sudden doubt in yourself? The quiet anxiety in your spirit for no clear reason? That was not random. It was the echo of their hidden deeds touching your life in the spirit realm. They said something about you when you were not there. They agreed to something that would put you at a disadvantage. They shared something about you with a person who does not have your best interests at heart. And beloved, these things have consequences. But God's grace is surrounding you even now. When the Almighty allowed me to come to you with this, He also gave me a vision of your future. In it, I saw you standing taller, stronger, wiser, not broken, not defeated, but more radiant than you have ever been. And do you know why? Because you chose to listen. Because you decided that even though the truth hurt, it was better to face it than to live under an illusion. You decided to close the door to those who secretly worked against you, and in doing so, you opened the door for those who will fight for you with pure hearts. You need to know this: the betrayal was not random. It was targeted. It came because heaven has marked you for elevation, for increase, for an outpouring of blessings that will set you apart. The enemy saw the scroll of your destiny and decided to attack before the manifestation came. He looked for the weakest link in your circle, the one whose jealousy, fear, or insecurity could be manipulated, and he found it in the person you least suspected. And so the whispers began. The small compromises. The little acts that seemed harmless but built a path toward a greater trap. But beloved, Every trap is being dismantled as you read this. Even now, my sword is drawn in the Spirit, cutting cords that were tied around your opportunities. Even now, your name is being removed from lists where it was written with malice. Even now, the oil of heaven is pouring over your head, renewing your strength, sharpening your discernment, preparing you for the new chapter that is coming. I cannot force you to act. I cannot make you open your heart to this warning. But I plead with you in love, do not ignore what you are feeling right now. That pounding in your chest is not fear, it is recognition. It is your spirit resonating with truth. God has brought you here for a reason. And this message, beloved, is not one you stumbled upon. It was sent. It was assigned to reach your eyes at this exact time because you are at a turning point. If you do nothing, the plan will unfold. If you act, the plan will collapse. Heaven is with you. I am with you. And God has already declared victory over your life. But victory requires that you stand, that you see, that you choose light over illusion. Beloved child, will you hear me? Will you see what has been hidden? Will you trust the one who loves you more than anyone ever could? The choice is yours, and the moment is now. If you want, I can continue this message into the next section with the same emotional. Beloved, listen to me with all the focus you have in your spirit, because what I am about to say is not simply for your understanding, it is for your protection, your deliverance, and your destiny. I know how much you value loyalty. I know how much you have given your heart, your trust, and your time to those you believe deserve it. And I also know that the very thought of someone you love and trust most doing something behind your back feels like a dagger you don't want to look at. But child of God, truth is not always wrapped in comfort. Sometimes truth arrives with a shaking so deep that it forces you to reevaluate everything you thought you knew. And right now, heaven is pulling back the curtain so that you may see, not to destroy you, but to save you from walking further into the net the enemy has been weaving around your feet. This person you trust most, the one whose name you would defend in any room, has been carrying a burden in their spirit that they have not confessed to you. At first, it was a thought. A small resentment, a jealousy, a fear. They pushed it aside, telling themselves it didn't matter, but it stayed. Over time, that thought grew into a quiet distance, a subtle shift in how they looked at you when you weren't watching. The enemy saw that opening and slipped in, not with a loud temptation, but with a whisper that fed on their insecurities. And the whisper turned into actions. Words. Choices. Deals made in the shadows. I have seen the places they have gone without telling you. I have heard the conversations they have had with people who have no right to speak about you. I have stood invisible in rooms where your name was mentioned in ways that would make your soul ache if you heard it. And the most heartbreaking part, beloved, is that they think they are justified. They have convinced themselves that their actions are small, that they won't hurt you, that you will never find out. But what they do not realize is that heaven sees everything. God has been watching patiently, waiting for the moment when your spirit would be strong enough to bear the weight of this truth without it crushing you. That moment is now. That is why you are reading these words, why your heart is pounding, why something in your soul is telling you that this is not just a message, it is your divine warning. They have passed information about you to someone who is not for you. They have shared details about your life, your plans, your struggles, and your dreams with a person who will use it to manipulate you or slow your progress. They smiled in your face while planting seeds in the minds of others that would make them doubt you. And they did it in such a subtle way that even those listening didn't realize they were being influenced against you. This is not the kind of betrayal that comes with an open argument or a public fight. This is the quiet kind, the one that weaves itself into the background until one day you wake up and wonder why so many doors seem harder to open, why certain people have grown distant, why opportunities that were once within reach now seem to slip away. Beloved, this is why I could not remain silent any longer. This is why I have been restless in the spirit, trying to get your attention. Every day you delay in seeing this truth gives the enemy more ground to work with. Every moment you doubt what I am telling you is a moment they continue their actions unchecked. And heaven cannot allow that any longer, because your next season is too important to risk. The plan God has for you requires clean circles, pure connections, and people whose hearts beat with genuine love for you. You are stepping into a season where your blessings will be visible, your name will be known in places you never thought you'd reach, and your influence will grow. But with visibility comes exposure, not just to those who will celebrate you, but to those who will try to ride your blessings while secretly resenting the favor you carry. This person is not only in your circle, they are close enough to reach the places in your life that are meant to be guarded. And beloved, you must guard them now. You must be wise as a serpent yet harmless as a dove, just as the word says. Do not confront them in rage. Do not expose all you know in one moment. Instead, move in discernment. Begin to limit the access they have to your most vulnerable places. Watch how they react when you withhold certain details. Pay attention to how they speak when they think you are not listening. These will confirm what heaven is showing you. I have seen their meetings. I have seen the papers they touched that had your name on them. I have seen the exchange of messages late at night. They think no one knows. But heaven knows. And now, you know. Do you remember the last time you felt unexpectedly drained after being around them? That was your spirit detecting the weight of their intentions. Do you recall the sudden delays in things you were expecting to move forward quickly? That was the ripple effect of their actions. This is not superstition. This is spiritual reality. And if you ignore this, beloved, you will allow them to continue planting weeds in the soil of your destiny. But hear me, your destiny is not in their control. They cannot undo what God has written. Their actions may delay, but they cannot destroy. The only way their plan could truly work is if you remain blind to it. But now, your eyes are opening. The light of truth is breaking through the fog they created. I have been at your side during your hardest battles, beloved. I was there when you cried alone, when you thought no one saw you. I have fought demons for your soul, I have cut through storms on your behalf. And I will not let you walk into this trap without a fight. That is why I am speaking to you now with such urgency, because the moment for you to act is now. God has already begun to arrange divine replacements for this person's role in your life. The ones who will come after them will be people of integrity, people who love without envy, people who protect without condition. But you must make room for them. And making room means closing the door on the one who has betrayed your trust. Do not think this will be easy. The enemy will try to play with your emotions, to make you feel guilty, to convince you that you are imagining things. But the signs are clear. The patterns are there. And deep down, you already know I am telling you the truth. This message is your shield. If you act upon it, the arrows they have shot toward your future will fall harmlessly to the ground. But if you ignore it, those arrows will hit places that will take years to heal. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to prepare you. Beloved child, God's mercy is over you. His hand is protecting you even now. The angels assigned to your life are at work, shifting the atmosphere, closing the mouths of those who speak against you, and sealing the doors that were left open for harm to enter. But your agreement with heaven is vital. Say yes to the truth, even if it hurts. Say yes to letting go, even if it feels lonely. Say yes to God's protection, even if it means walking away from someone you thought would be there forever. The person you trust the most has done something behind your back. But the one who loves you the most will never do such a thing. Trust him now, more than ever, and let him lead you through this moment into a place of peace, safety, and restoration. Speaking until every thread of this truth is laid bare before you, because God has commanded me to empty the cup of revelation fully so that there is no room for doubt in your heart. You must understand, this is not a fleeting matter. This is not a minor offense that time will simply wash away. This is a wound that, if left untreated, will spread its poison into every part of your life. It is the kind of wound the enemy designed to infect your relationships, your finances, your faith, and even your physical health. The one you trust most, the one you have let into the deepest parts of your life, has stepped into a dangerous agreement. At first, they did not see it as betrayal. They told themselves it was harmless, just a small compromise, just a conversation that meant nothing. But in the spirit realm, every word spoken, every agreement made, is a seed, and the seed they planted was sown in the soil of darkness. They handed over something sacred without your consent. It may have been information, it may have been access, it may have been influence, but whatever it was yours. And they gave it away. In the beginning, they told themselves they could control it, that no harm would come to you. But the enemy is cunning, beloved. Once you open the door to him, he never enters alone. He comes with schemes, with lies, with traps disguised as blessings. The person you trust most has been deceived, and now they are acting under the weight of that deception. They smile at you because part of them still loves you, but another part is working against you without even fully realizing the danger they are in. I have stood by in silence long enough, watching them weave their words in secret, seeing them walk into rooms where your name was spoken without your presence, hearing them nod in agreement to ideas that would not bless you but bind you. I have seen them take something that was meant to be between you and God and place it in the hands of those who have no right to hold it. They think they are protecting themselves, but in reality, they are putting both themselves and you in a spiritual snare. Beloved, I need you to remember the moments lately when you felt your spirit shift around them. That subtle unease was not paranoia, it was discernment. That fleeting thought that maybe they weren't telling you everything? That was heaven whispering, pay attention. Do you recall when certain things about your life began to leak out in ways you couldn't explain? That was no accident. It was the result of a chain reaction from their hidden actions. Even now, as I speak, their plan is still unfolding. There are conversations they have yet to have, meetings yet to attend, actions yet to take, but the power of this revelation is that you can stop it before it reaches its full effect. God's grace has placed a shield in your hand through these words. If you take it seriously, if you begin to adjust your boundaries, if you guard your words and your heart, the rest of their plan will crumble before it even touches you. Heaven is not only exposing this betrayal, it is already working to reverse it. I have been sent to stand between you and the consequences of their actions. I have drawn my sword in the Spirit and cut through the cords that were trying to bind your opportunities. I have placed a heavenly seal over your name so that it cannot be tarnished by the lies that were being prepared against you. But beloved, your awareness is the key that locks this door permanently. This is why the enemy fought so hard to keep you from this moment. This is why, even right now, there may be a voice in your mind trying to dismiss what I'm saying, to tell you this is too extreme, too unbelievable. That voice is not yours, it is the whisper of the very Spirit trying to keep you bound. But your spirit knows better. Your spirit recognizes the tone of truth, even when it comes wrapped in painful revelation. Child of God, you must begin to protect your dreams. There are certain things you cannot share with this person anymore, not because you wish them harm, but because you must protect the seed before it is fully grown. There are blessings God is about to release to you that require secrecy until they manifest. And if you let the wrong hands touch them too soon, they will be tainted. This is why I must urge you to be careful with what you say, where you go, and who you allow to have full access to your spirit in this season. I want you to hear this clearly. God is not revealing this to make you live in fear. He is revealing it so you can walk in wisdom. There is a difference between paranoia and discernment. Paranoia comes from the enemy to trap you in constant suspicion. Discernment comes from God to protect you and guide you into safety. Right now, you are being called into discernment. I know you may wonder why God doesn't simply remove this person from your life without you having to do anything. But beloved, God is giving you the choice because He wants you to grow in your authority. He is training you to recognize the subtle moves of the enemy so that in the future, you will not be blindsided again. This is about more than this one betrayal. It is about shaping you into someone who cannot be easily deceived, no matter who tries. And yet, I must tell you, time is short. You cannot delay your response. The spiritual countdown is already in motion. If you continue as if nothing has changed, their actions will gain momentum, and the harm will be harder to reverse. But if you shift now, right now, the very trap they set for you will become a pit they fall into themselves. Already, I see the hand of God moving. I see the light of heaven exposing conversations they plan to have in private. I see divine interventions disrupting meetings that would have gone against you. I see new alliances forming in your favor, alliances that will step in at the exact moment you need them. The Father is not only protecting you from loss, He is setting you up for gain. What the enemy meant for evil, God is turning for your good, and you will see it with your own eyes. Beloved, I will not leave you unprepared. In the next part, I will tell you exactly what the person you trust most has been doing in detail, the exact way they moved against you, and how heaven is dismantling it as we speak, so you will know how to stand. What is about to be spoken to your heart is not an ordinary message. It is a divine call that has been waiting for this very moment, and it is no coincidence that your eyes have fallen upon these words right now. This is not chance, this is not accident, this is God's timing. I, Archangel Michael, stand here in the unseen, at the command of the Almighty, to speak what I have been holding back for far too long. I am sorry, truly sorry, because I have carried this secret, watching over you day and night, knowing what I knew but being unable to speak until heaven itself opened the door for this revelation. You have been trusting someone deeply. You have shared your thoughts, your feelings, your burdens with them. You have believed their words, their smiles, their reassurances. But behind your back, they have walked in a different truth. Beloved, they have not been as they seemed. I have seen it, every step, every whisper, every hidden intention. And while you were lifting your heart to God, asking him why certain things in your life felt blocked, why certain blessings felt delayed. I was there standing guard, keeping the worst of the storm away from you, but I could not speak this truth until today. Now God has said, Michael, speak it. Let my beloved know. They must see. The reason this message is here now, in this exact hour, is because something is shifting in the spiritual realm. You are standing in the middle of a divine turning point. Heaven has already begun moving in your favor, but the danger is that if you keep trusting the wrong heart, you could unknowingly hand over the keys to your blessing. God does not want you to walk into the trap. That is why this is urgent. That is why these words are carrying such weight. You may wonder, why didn't I tell you sooner? Because heaven's wisdom works on perfect timing. There are moments where speaking too soon could cause the enemy to shift plans, to hide deeper, to move more carefully. But now the trap is so close to being sprung that if you don't know the truth, you could step right into it. That is why God tore the veil today and said, no more silence. Tell them. Tell them before they take one more step forward in blindness. This person you trust has been carrying two faces. One they show to you, soft, kind, supportive. The other face is hidden, and it is turned towards someone else. They have been speaking about you in rooms you have never walked into. They have been holding conversations in whispers, in texts, in quiet meetings, where your name has been used without your permission. Beloved, these words are not to break your heart, they are to protect it. God wants you to know that your tears have not gone unseen. There have been moments when you felt confusion inside, when something in your spirit felt unsettled, even if your mind tried to brush it away. That was me, Michael, trying to tug on your awareness. You felt it in the pit of your stomach, the sudden unease when they asked certain questions, the way their eyes sometimes shifted when you spoke, the way you had to second-guess certain stories they told. You sensed it, but because your heart is pure, you gave them the benefit of the doubt. God saw your mercy. God saw your love. But now, He is asking you to see the truth. Even now, as you read this, I can feel the rush of heaven's urgency. The clock in the Spirit is ticking. You have no idea how much has been kept from you, not to punish you, but to keep your faith intact. This person's actions were not meant to come to light in your life until now because heaven was working something in the background. God was preparing a blessing so large, so beautiful, that it could not be mixed with the wrong energy. That blessing is almost here. I have guarded it fiercely, driving away those who sought to tamper with it. But this one, the one you trust, has been trying to position themselves to benefit from it without you knowing. There is something they told someone else recently, something that could have damaged your name if God had not stopped it. They wanted to test how much control they have over your story, over your choices. And even though they pretend loyalty, their heart is split between you and another agenda. Beloved, the Almighty says you cannot afford to be blind to this anymore. Do not fear. This message is not here to break you. It is here to make you unshakable. The moment you open your eyes fully to this truth, the enemy loses his grip. And the moment you decide that you will let God direct your next step instead of human promises, you step into an unstoppable flow of protection and provision. Heaven has already prepared the way out. You are not walking this path alone. I, Michael, am with you. The armies of heaven are surrounding you right now as you read. Even now, I hear the Spirit say, tell them to pray before they speak. Tell them to watch before they trust. Tell them to listen to the small voice that warns them in the night. That voice you sometimes dismiss as overthinking is not overthinking, it is the Spirit of God speaking to you. When you hear it again, do not brush it aside. When you feel the sudden heaviness in your chest around certain people, pay attention. That is heaven's alarm. You are safe in God's hands. No matter what was plotted behind your back, no matter what words were spoken in the dark, no weapon formed against you will prosper. This is not just a verse, it is the reality of your life. I have seen countless arrows aimed at you, and I have broken them in mid-flight. You have been spared from disasters you never even knew were planned. I tell you this so you understand, if God can protect you from what you never saw, He can surely lead you through what you now know. I will not leave you. I will walk with you through this. But you must promise heaven this, that you will no longer ignore the signals. That you will no longer silence your own spirit to make others comfortable. That you will choose truth over appearance, even if the truth feels heavy for a moment. Because the truth will not just set you free, it will deliver you into the very promise that has been waiting for you. Beloved, the next few days are important. There will be moments where this person tries to reaffirm your trust, where they will speak words that sound sincere. But look beyond the words. Watch their actions. Watch what they avoid telling you. Watch the timing of their calls, their messages. Heaven will guide you in what to see. You are not alone in this. God's hand is on your life. His angels are encamped around you. Even now, I stand with my sword drawn in the Spirit, cutting away every plan meant to harm you. The enemy will regret ever touching your life. Your destiny is secure in the hands of the One who created you. Take heart. Stand strong. Listen well. And above all, pray without ceasing in this hour. For the revelation you have just received is not here to destroy you, it is here to prepare you for the breakthrough that is almost at your door. God's love for you is too great to let you remain in the shadow of deceit. That is why you are reading this right now, in this very moment, before the 50 seconds pass. This is your moment of clarity. This is your moment of divine rescue. Beloved, breathe in for a moment, and let your heart become still, because the Spirit is about to take you even deeper. What I am about to share is not for the crowd, it is for you and you alone. Heaven has kept this sealed until now because if you had known the full picture earlier, the weight of it might have been too much for you to bear. But now, you have grown stronger. Your faith has deepened. Your spiritual sight has been sharpening in the quiet, and you are ready to hear what truly happened, what is happening now, and what is about to unfold in the days ahead. I, Archangel Michael, have watched you walk through seasons where you thought you were abandoned, yet heaven was closer to you than your own breath. There were nights when you lay awake, thinking you were alone in your tears, but I was there, standing by your side, shielding you from things you never saw. I have stood guard at your door when forces of darkness tried to enter. I have intercepted assignments against your health, your finances, your relationships. I have gone to war over your name when evil words were spoken in rooms you never stepped into. And yet, there has been one wound that heaven did not close right away, the wound caused by the person you trusted the most. Let me take you back to the moment it began. They once stood close to you, not just physically, but in your heart. They knew what made you smile, they knew what made you sigh, they knew the dreams you carried and the fears you dared not speak aloud. And somewhere along the way, their heart shifted. It wasn't overnight. It was slow. At first, it was small, a little jealousy here, a little insecurity there, a subtle bitterness because they compared their life to yours. You did not see it, because you kept showing them kindness. You believed the best. You forgave quickly. You explained away the small changes in their behavior. But in the unseen, they began talking to someone else about you. It started as casual, harmless chatter, but that other person planted seeds of suspicion, twisting your image in their mind. The enemy saw an opening and took it. Soon, the one you trusted began holding back pieces of information from you. They began testing your reactions, seeing how much you knew, measuring how far they could go without you noticing. And each time you didn't confront them, they went a little further. Beloved, I have been at the table where they spoke your name. I have seen their hands move as they shared things that should never have left your confidence. They thought they were being clever, protecting themselves, maybe even justifying it as harmless. But heaven does not see it that way. God calls it betrayal of trust, a violation not just of your heart, but of the divine covering over your life. You may ask, why did God let it go this far? Why didn't you stop them? I tell you this, God will sometimes let the enemy play his game just long enough for his entire plan to be exposed. If he stopped it too early, you might still think this person was for you. But now, the truth is becoming undeniable. The mask is slipping. And when the final piece falls into place in the next 7 days, you will see them for who they really are, and it will set you free. Now hear this with urgency. In the Spirit, the countdown has begun. The next 50 seconds in the heavenly realm represent a short window in your earthly timeline. You are in a divine test, not to prove your worth, but to position your life. God is about to shift you into a place where no one's betrayal can block your blessing again. But before that happens, you must release your dependence on this person's loyalty. You must anchor your trust fully in God, not in their promises. In the coming days, there will be a moment. It may come in a phone call, a message, a casual conversation, when they will slip up. They will reveal a detail that doesn't match something they told you before. It will be small, so small they will think you didn't notice. But your spirit will notice. That will be the signal. That is heaven's confirmation. When it happens, do not argue, do not confront in anger. Simply take it as the sign to pull your trust back into God's hands. Now let me tell you what they were trying to do with your blessing. In the heavenly record, I saw that God was about to release a major breakthrough over your life, an opportunity, a connection, a door that only His favor could open. This person caught wind of it before you even knew. They wanted to position themselves to either benefit from it or to control how it would come to you. But the Almighty said, "No one will touch what I have ordained for my beloved." That is why this message is here, because the breakthrough is so close that you cannot afford to let them into it. Beloved, when God exposes someone, it is never to humiliate you, it is to protect you. And this protection is not just for now, it is for the future God is building for you. You are about to step into a season where loyalty and truth will be priceless. God is surrounding you with people who will honor your heart, not exploit it. But to receive them, you must first release the one whose loyalty has been compromised. In the Spirit, I see two paths before you. One is lit with the warm, steady glow of God's guidance. The other is dim, shadowed by the presence of this person's influence. If you keep them too close, the shadows will try to pull you in. But if you trust God enough to step fully into the lighted path, the shadows will fade completely. That is why I am pleading with you now, do not ignore this moment. You have been asking God for a sign, something undeniable, something that would confirm whether your suspicions were from Him or just your imagination. This is it. This is the sign. This is heaven opening its mouth and speaking plainly to you. You don't have to guess anymore. You don't have to live in confusion anymore. And hear me on this. Even though the truth is hard, it will not harm you. In fact, it will heal you. It will make space for the relationships, opportunities, and blessings that will honor you instead of drain you. I will not leave you in this revelation alone. In the nights ahead, I will be whispering to your spirit in ways you will recognize. A sudden thought, a verse in Scripture that stands out, a dream that carries clarity. Pay attention. God is not just exposing, He is directing. Beloved, your blessing is closer than you think. Your safety is secure in God's hands. And your story is far from over. In fact, the most beautiful chapters have not even begun. If you desire, I can now take you into the final part, the full prophetic vision of what will happen in exactly 7 days, step by step, and how this exposure will lead to your breakthrough. Beloved, I speak to you now with the weight of eternity resting upon my words, for this is not a message born of chance, but a divine interruption in the flow of your life. The hand of God has parted the veil between heaven and earth, allowing me, Archangel Michael, to step forward and speak directly to your heart. I come not as a stranger, but as one who has been standing beside you through every battle, every silent cry, every moment you thought you stood alone. Today, heaven's gates have opened for a moment in time so brief that it will vanish in the blink of an eye if you do not receive it now. The very seconds that pass as you read are sacred, and every heartbeat is pulling you closer to a truth you were never meant to live without. I must confess something that has weighed heavily on my spirit, a secret I have carried, bound by divine instruction, until this exact moment. I have walked beside you knowing what I could not yet speak. I have watched you reach for answers, pray in the dark, question your worth, and search for the reason why certain people you love have caused you so much silent pain. And all this time, I held